Sorry, excuse me. Let's do this. let my brother in here too. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right, we'll go over here. No, we'll go find him. Not that you're not coming.
Yeah, I was here yesterday. You have time. You just stop. Oh, you do?
Hello, everyone. Hi, how's it going? Make some noise for the 15th annual Line Breaks. I'm over here looking for Chris Walker. I think he will join me on this stage any moment now. But my name is Sophia Snow. I'm the director of the Office of Multicultural Arts Initiative. I'm also an alumna of the first cohort of First Wave, and this 15th anniversary means so much to me. We're basically kind of treating these 15 years, this moment as a celebration of multicultural arts in Madison, the celebration of hip hop and urban arts in Madison, and I can't tell you how much it fills my heart to see half of all of your faces here in this very, very room. But with 15 years of First Wave and OMAI here in Madison, we have to do a roll call of the folks who came from all over to join us this weekend. If you were in first to third cohort of First Wave, could you make some noise, please? If you were in the fourth to sixth cohort of First Wave, can you make some noise, please? If you were in the 7th to 10th cohort of First Wave, could you make some noise? We have 11th co in the building. Make some noise. All the way in the balcony, we see you. Our recent graduates, we see you. We have the 12th cohort is represented in tonight's show. The 13th cohort is represented in tonight's show. The 14th cohort has an ensemble production in tonight's show. And I heard we even have the 15th cohort finalists in the building. Please make some noise. So truly, in this very room, it's such a special moment. We have even original OMAI staff from the 2007, 2009 era. Erica Bozanovsky, if you want to raise your hand, say what up. You're also in the building somewhere. We have the very staff person in OMAI who created our 3 pillars, who coined our 3 pillars of arts, activism, and academics. Katrina Flores, please. It's truly a celebration this weekend, and all of you being here to witness it means so much. With that being said, I want to welcome to the stage our founding artistic director, Chris Walker, to the stage.
All right, so full disclosure, I do have an injury, so I've turned my limp into a swag.
Okay.
It's not normal that I move this smooth. But I'm just so proud and so excited to be here. And I want to come up here and thank you all for being here, for gathering this community. Last night, it was medicine. Coming from the house onto the stage. And usually as a performing artist, you feel like you're giving, right? And sometimes you get home, you're so tired. Right? Those of us who tour, you know that, right? You feel like you're on stage and you give so much. But I'm telling you, there's something about this Trust Theater, this stage, this space that Sophia has produced Line Breaks in this year that created this wonderful sense of a circle and a family, and I felt like I was nourished. So I want to extend a big thank you to the audience who make the conversation of performance, the ritual of performance possible. When we started First Wave, right, in 2007, it was the idea that these stories are important. All of our stories are important. All of our experiences are important, right? And then there are all these possibilities of how we may go about sharing those experiences. And when we think about cross-collaboration and interdisciplinary practice, what may be possible? So for the past 16 years, those have been the experiment. But then space is an important part of that work. So the first wave show was on the historic Dobler stage on UW-Madison campus, right? We moved to the Historical Society, the Wisconsin Union Theater, then the Overture Center. Those were important stages in our city and on our campus. And it was important that we demonstrated that these stories, these voices, these faces, these bodies were important on those stages.
Absolutely.
We sought to remove what we thought were the barriers to creating theater, to creating storytelling. And those barriers are important because they're moving toward a specific academic outcome, right? But we are like, yo, you have a story to tell, you have an audience to hear it. What do you need in between but the space for that to happen, right? So I'm honored that our executive director of the Office of Multicultural Arts Initiative represent the first cohort of First Wave. And with that is a vision of how all of the cohorts of First Wave is a part of the ongoing and future conversations of First Wave. And so right now in the house, there's representation from the 1st to 14th.
15.
And the 15th cohort in the building. And that is a vision that Sophia, as director, is fully realizing here and galvanizing here.
You see how Chris just make me weepy-eyed and then just dance from the stage? Like, come on. No, really, the fact that you all are here today, your beautiful faces, your multicultural faces, you're just here to experience and gather art together. This year's Line Breaks is 2 years in the making. I arrived as director October 2019, and I was like, ooh, that April 2020 Line Breaks is gonna go crazy. And as you know, what happened April 2020? We were canceled 3 weeks out. Last year we did a virtual Line Breaks, and this year has been a long, long time coming. I want to thank the Overture for hosting this space for us today, for giving our students a platform. And yeah, tonight's gonna be lit. But before I even welcome the first performance out here, we need the audience to warm up a little bit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? This is a hip hop and urban arts theatrical performance, all right? I know maybe you've been in here before and you saw something, everybody was quiet. You know what I mean? This ain't that, all right? So we're gonna practice a little bit. If you hear something you really like, I wanna hear a snap. Ooh, that line went crazy. Maybe someone says something and it touches your soul and you haven't even processed it yet. I want to hear a right? I want to hear a woo. That bar was fire. I want to hear a feet stomp. I want to hear a you better go off. Okay? In this space, it's all about the call and response. As you heard, we started off this whole thing 3 minutes ago. Y'all are a part of this performance. Y'all are a part of this community just by being here. So let the student artists feel your love, feel your reaction. Feel free to make some noise right where you are. That being said, I want to welcome to the stage the First Wave Touring Ensemble. The Touring Ensemble in First Wave is a time-honored tradition where every fall First Wavers audition to become kind of the performing artist face of First Wave. They represent us on campus in workshops. They tour the country with us as well, kind of showing the world what First Wave is all about. Last year we had a virtual touring ensemble that performed virtually at the Public Theater of New York, virtually at youth open mics in San Francisco. And this is our first year for several years, maybe 4 or 5 years, where we could have the touring ensemble actually work together to create an in-person piece for you all, collaboration for you all. And I can't wait for you to see what they have in store. Please, please, please put your hands together for Chrysalis by the First Wave Touring.
Once, I was gutless from lack of passion, stuffed with subjects and their status. Growing up, I pulled at my teeth for an ounce of reason. When I thought about my future, I spoke from denatured nodes on the memorized feel of that rotting desk. The lies which stapled my build, the lies which kept me a daughter. Because I didn't know anything worth the sacrifice. Chance is just what you're born into. By a face of grace, there was a stage and there was a hearing. I had my silences, a hunger that could be felt. I was a hurt sinner before an audience of sinners. I made the choice to be a public massacre. I unraveled in the spotlight, cursed out every evil behind its back, and this time, there was a car out front. There were two smiling faces and a ride that didn't ask me to explain my evil. There was an opening, a fissure of light, a crack of skin. That moment, I felt at home for the first time. Driving down the same St. Louis highways, smoking on each other's fingers, unfurling the past. We could imagine going further, being more than what they said we could. The bells of my blood, I believed too dark to hold. I rang my face before the harvest. And there they stood, my friends, calling me softly with headlights through my bedroom window. Even after the evil grackle of that house, the broken glass, the screaming spattle they heard, they chose to see all of me, all that we could be. We made it out the city. And when the day came, I collected my journals and ran. I didn't look back because I couldn't, because I was happy, wandering loosely with my friends.
Most blue that appears in nature is a trick of the light. My name, Azura, means blue skies. Blue as the napkin left on my grandmother's empty chair. Blue as the ocean we pulled a name from. My mama always told me, never let anyone call me out my name. My fire, flicking a florid blue, curling my smoke into midnight. My lover calls me through blue light, my name, the color a mirror makes as it scatters me. Blue like diviner, a stone thrown into a pond, a clam husk patient with its pearl, my name, an ultramarine wish sung to the sky. Blue as Billy's moon, blue as my brother feeding bats under twilight. The plums that once grew in our backyard, spoiled blue, like blood made royal. My mama always told me, never let anyone call you out your name. We made it too far to lose our names. And still, people get my name wrong. Tried to butcher my blue inherited treasure, never mind. My name is my own sky. Can stun a mouth speechless of color.
Girl, we don't even pass the Bechdel test.
Right. I can't even look at you without begging his name. He makes me want to slurp his shadow off concrete.
Okay. He makes me want to triple text him. He makes me.
Girl, and you don't even like him that much. He can't name your love languages like I can.
Like I can.
We're not
Trying too hard.
Right?
Right.
I'm trying to play damsel coy. I'm manifesting like
All of us who are trying to get a text back from something too aloof to respond. Listen, I'm trying to look at him
Without him knowing I'm looking. That's the magic.
I'm in your room, waiting for a love you have already given me. I can't keep wasting it. Listen,
We got to get our shit together.
Take a shot if you say his name on Valentine's Day.
You brought the tequila, the pink wine.
you brought the regret for the strikes on the wall. We sat together, drank the good lighting and the corny rom-coms. We loved in the same language.
We requited only our names. I met you again.
And again, it was delighted every time.
Everything else is fantasy, except us.
See you, sir.
On the days you felt most alive, we retreated to the forest, past where highways had numbers and sang Frank Ocean loud enough to scare the deer off the road. We dressed in a secondhand opulence from Saber's Thrift off Clayton Road. Wearing a stale lace, loitering at country clubs, we pretended to own the houses. Mine was made of cobble next to the inn. Majova's was across the street. Every time we pass, we'd watch through the windows in hopes they'd invite us in or show us a secret to that life. We'd imitate them. The white people at the park, the people walking their dogs, and on those days, we walked like white women until their stares ran us off the property. We would never do the things we do if we were alone. We always talk about having a witness, keeping each other in check, having someone to remember us. The country club was never our home. Labadee was. Off Highway T, past the construction, next to the power plant, the train crossing sign covered in bullet holes, just enough to feel like home. We felt unsafe. But in our city, it's no different. It was our secret. A Narnia only us and the Hicks knew about. We'd wear everything we could on Arsenal or the State Streets or St. Ferdinand. I need Majova as much as this dress I've lonelied. When we are in the city, we are cowardly things. Quick as cannon fire to leave, to retreat. There isn't war in our city, just slaughter. Most people dress like shit anyways. And I tell myself they're just jealous of us. Even when wearing some old lady's clothes, a molted fur, a loose heel, we pump like a double barrel. Spike our heels into the ground like a flag marking this farm is ours. Our gravel runway is the only catwalk we need or have. The birds and crops can score our catwalk. Even Joan of Arc's armor couldn't save her from rotten men. Wow. My dress is no different. My armor is a frailty, a beast rhinestoning its larynx until noiselessness, till our beauty turns like every other whipping post into the steady thud of our heels against this gravel. I'm not afraid of being the ugliest thing in this forest. When you're in the passenger seat ready to call me out my name like, bitch, you got me fucked up. The dress is giving money. How dare you say that shit in front of me? You know you're a bad bitch, so act like it. And of course, they're right. But sometimes, I'm just jealous of the deer who can dodge an arrow mid-flight. At summer camp, I split an arrow twice in a row and imagined it was the counselor who threatened to set me ablaze. All I could do was imagine. And when I couldn't, all I could do was run. Population density made us shells. So we became a crucible, a cast, and forged ourselves a friendship, a bad bitch, a home in the forest, where our lace dresses call the winds, just to dance for croplands.
I want to fight. On Green Street. I want a body to hold as we roll in someone's mama's front porch, tear my nails into their arms until we fragment, pick up the pieces and collage ourselves together with the wreckage. I'm trying to go back to that summer, that the sun shines so strong, it pulled Puda, Pookie, and I to the lips of our mothers, rest the silver gates. We clashed, and the three of us turned into a roly-poly. Our sweat and swear silver lining us together. We fought that summer. And ain't that love? Being so close, we tear into each other. We leave fragments of ourselves under fingertips. We hit so hard, we dirtied each other into a smile. Carved our own hood, under the hood. Just us boys, pounding each other till tender. Till that one day, they light-skinned cousin whose name I could and can't remember. When I told him I was one of them, he punched me so hard in the stomach, I threw the boy up. And we watched him wither under the sun like a roly-poly, drained from in between someone's thumb and pointer finger. Puda, Pookie, and I unrolled. My mom dragged me into her yard like a dead thing, cleaned until the block started calling me things like pretty in place of my name. I stopped fighting, grew crushes on the boys, because the girls I wanted to be near talked about how they wanted to be with those same boys. And what's closer than sharing the same reason to blush? On Green Street, they still tell stories about my mean old great grandma Maybelle. Say she didn't come here wrapped in hospital blankets. Instead, she picked herself off the Pell's floor, walked right up to the devil, and demanded his horns, hid them under her wig before her arrival. In the middle of making love to Grandpa Arthur, her wig slowly begins to lift. She bursts through their bedroom, clothed only in sweat, rushes right out of the front door and yells to the whole block, "Who trying to fuck? 'Cause this nigga can't." Grandpa swears he done seen the devil. Says it lives under his roof and that they are in love. Her mean makes them both feel alive. Grandpa loved her mean so much he wanted to give her more. That's how Grandma Didi got here. Didi the darkest of all of her siblings. Every trip down south, she got to kick her feet up on the back porch, eat mooncake, and laugh a laugh as long as the Mississippi River. Grew up and inherited the ability of putting niggas in their place without having to ask. Mean is what was there for the women in my family.
Come on.
When no was but a slippery fish, hard to hold on to. To me, Grandma Dee was one of the hood's sweetest. They say on Grandma Maybell's deathbed, she was as she looked, a sweet old lady. Death, it has a way of draining whole bodies. When the women in my family are dying, the mean leaks out. They get softer and sleep more. I like to think I am not as mean as the women I come from. But it doesn't take much for me to get there. This one time, the blood snuck its way into my bathroom, and all I could hear was muffled versions of my own breath. I thought I saw the end inching closer. So I got mean, real mean, because I knew I had more living to do.
Lately, I've been asking men I meet online to touch me on the chest. I have dreams of feeding children I can't have with food my body can't produce. And I don't think I'm asking for too much, right? In the church where I grew up, we learned about all kinds of miracles performed by saints and by statues. Check it, there's this one video on YouTube, I swear, there's this porcelain woman and she's just crying. Tears of milk, white water pooling on the floor of the basilica. And there's another video in which the Italian priest with a degree in engineering explains how he built this miracle using tubes and a tank of oxide. In the video, he says, "Science is how I know that God is real." Right now, biology is how I know he's not. I don't mean that. I'm angry. The patron saint of breast is Saint Agatha of Sicily, an Italian noble who vowed to never touch a man. And as punishment, her breasts were ripped from her body and placed upon a plate. This is the saint my grandmother prayed to every night in Louisiana while the cancer grew heavy in her chest. In the 1980s, there were more petrochemical facilities in Louisiana than anywhere else in the world. The strip of land from Baytown, Texas to Baton Rouge, Louisiana became known as Cancer Alley. And the water here was so toxic, it caused a generation of children to be born with one extra eye, which could only see green light. My grandmother, too, she grew mutant in the swamp. The cells in her body multiplied into a nation, declared war on the rest of her. Grammy, you fed the woman who fed me. And I can't save you from anything. You lifted your shirt to heaven, said, "Look, do you remember what kept the king alive when he was here on earth? Myrrh. Your name is also an offering. The oil which anoints our dead. You're dead and buried without your breast. Sometimes I wish I could dig them up, wear them for a moment, put the heavy head of the boy I just met between them and tell him how we stay alive.
Sand in places that don't belong. Discomfort grinding under heels. What was supposed to be and what did. Don't bring that into the kitchen. Don't stay outside past dark. That's when the jinns come out. Aha, baha, ghan, not gone. Put the lump in your throat to use. Use it to plant a tree that drops apples onto soft heads. I always end up using our mother's advice. That night, I slept soundly, and in the morning, my friend was gone. It sounds awkward at first. New actions to your name. She was. No. She is. I believe in that which you will always be. Us on the corner of your bed talking about our moms. How they worry when we're out too late. About what will follow. You giggling and squirming over boys I lied and said were good enough. We knew each other's first secrets. You told me the one where you were cheated and wronged by this life. How you woke into poison and mischief. You were alive in all your final moments. Together we found out how jinns live among us as faces, as diagnosis, as a time we knew approached. We didn't talk about that. We were just kids, planning in our imagination. Like a thin layer of sand in the living room, you knew when it was time. The apple tree falls in the storm. The rooms catch on fire. The participle of your name never changes from your leaving. It was an act. I hear you behind my ear, telling me not to turn there, not to mourn over the old under fallen branches. You tell me to approach the light, so close I can feel you, even when the sun goes out. Don't worry, not all spirits are evil. I think I can break our record of staying in place. I'm in love, and there's enough for the both of us. I see this as light we can hold. I think there's a good chance your sound goes on, even when you're not there to defend it.
Monocarpic succulents flower once and do so as a signal they are going to die. Begins with coronation, placement, and bestowment. The hospital's white sheet draping his body, decaying, going to pieces without falling. The iodoform's sweet harvest. A nurse holds me. I try to hold the memory. I rub the tears on my hands like prayer beads. I call a God who steals from me. I steal a memory God made me forget. I forget and leave God to pray to me. You exit, seraph of dawn. You died a Catholic. The rest of us lost God when you found him.
History is one plate laid over another, laid over another, and then undone. Once, my grandfather found his friend trying to bury his wife in the snow, alone, and couldn't. "I love you," he told his friend, picked up a shovel, and here we are. The present is humbling me, dumbing me wise. Silence is meeting me simple. All I do is listen to other people remark on my people dying, my blood swimming like an hourglass between my ears. Oh, how it burns. The world looks at us like fire deciding what is flammable, and all I know are simple things. Ratios of sugar and milk, how to knock softly on a locked door, how to scrape the blinds of dust, how to sew a hem shorter. Can I ask something? I've already asked something. I'm sorry. What will I be remembered for?
I don't think he was ever meant for this world. Your grandfather. He had visions. You know this. He wasn't there in my life for that long. But whenever I hear a voice telling me to be brave, I know it's him. My mom, she's kind. She says nice things, but she's cautious. That voice, that bravery, has got to be his. When you die, the last thing that you hear are people's footsteps when they leave your funeral. Then you're asked if there's only one God. You're measured on the mizan, your good and bad actions and thoughts. When I named you, I didn't realize what an intimidating word mizan was for Muslims, like the adjudicator. Never let anybody call you out your name. When you're measured on the mizan, if you're bad, your coffin becomes the smallest place you've ever experienced. But if you're good, it gets bigger and bigger until you can see all the ancestors that you never got to meet when you were alive. Because they've been watching and learning. And I know when it's time for me to meet my dad, he'll be ready. Because he's been watching me, watching us.
Mama says, the last thing you hear are the sound of people's footsteps leaving your funeral. The world is so loud, I can't hear people leaving. What will I be remembered for? I ask people yet to come. I ask the ground that will take me silent in the end. I'm picking up a shovel. I'm pushing a plaque into the tender, burning head of this world. Trust. Trust is a torch against this long road we walk down. What an exhalation. We come up this hill. We fall. We push. We fall. We return.
Return.
That might have been the best written first wave show I've ever seen.
I have to agree with you. First wave touring ensemble, y'all. Okay, cool. I'm trying to understand. I'm just trying to work with the light. All right. I just want to recognize the level and quality and depth and layers of talent that existed in the pen and page work that we then saw on stage tonight.
Yes.
Please give it up for that one. As I was stepping up here, I heard Dinesh say, I want that published. And I'm like, absolutely. Say no more. Yeah, just brilliant writing. I want to also highlight and call out Carl Iglesias. Carl is in the booth right now, but Carl has been working. Carl is from the second cohort of First Wave VW, now based in New York City. And the pandemic has taught us a lot of things. And one of them is the potentials and possibilities that are available to us working virtually. And Carl has been working virtually with the touring ensemble and traveling also to Madison to rehearse with the group. So that staging, that deep character work, the sharing of ideas across stories that you saw there, I just want to make sure Carl gets his flowers. Yes. I'm going to ask the 14th cohort to bring out a piano. We're going to do a quick transition here. It'll be less than a minute, and we'll go into the second showing for the afternoon. Then we're going to have both groups come out, and we'll be able to engage the artists with some questions. Sounds good? Yeah. Thank you all so much.
Addicted to the dream, but we believe that it is real. We believe it's real. Algorithm.
My 5 fingers embrace a spoon containing apple cinnamon oatmeal in hopes of delivering nutrients into my father's mouth. Patience ensues. The jaw of my father nods at the strength it once was, and so patience ensues. Seinfeld on the television. Kramer is his favorite character. Laughter, his lungs a symphony of violins. I am here, it says. May I confirm, a missing protein in my father's brain cannot deteriorate my family. The shower faucet sprinkles on my father's skin as my fingers put soap beneath his pores, the foam converting a cloud that my father rubs away. May we breathe presence into our lost ones. It is okay to wish that they are still here, because on this day, I decide to show my father the sunset. Lotion enters my hand as I moisturize his heels. I guide my father into his wheelchair, where I push our lifetime of memories into Lighthouse Beach. Years ago, we had built a sandcastle. The lifeguards are now gone. The residents leave one by one. Waves meditate on the ear, the two relaxed. I fade into sleep. My baba grasps my hand and mutters, I love you. He releases himself from the wheelchair. His toes embark on the sand with strength. Walking. He touches the blue liquid and cements his spirit into holy water.
I never been a fan of love that ain't real. I never been the type of man to show I can't feel. My lifestyle been kinda wild, but I'm floating through the Nile, trying to cleanse myself from shit that I've been holding over these years. I'm feeling like I ain't here. Feelings make me spray tears. Hate up in your face, but this a race, so I can't wait here. Try to steal my place, but no, you can't, cause you would break here. But if we come together, it's no telling what we'd make here. Walking through the jungle, watch your step, cause it be snakes here. They taught they shit, but ain't on shit, yo, we straight here. They be trying to make fears. Judge get cuz like 8 years, but now he writing stories. Who we think he is? Shakespeare? Bridges get the burning, ain't no telling who gon' cross you. Seems shit never happen when you tell them what you gon' do. I shed a couple tears, but I won't tell them what I go through. You say you like the new me, but still acting like the old you. And I don't need no friends, I'm sturdy with the ones I'm close to. I seen his body laying in the casket, watch it close too. I do what I gotta do, ain't nothing I'm opposed to, but guarantee I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to. I don't need no friends, I'm sturdy with the ones I'm close to. I seen his body laying in the casket, watch it close too. I do what I gotta do, ain't nothing I'm opposed to, but guarantee I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to. I ain't never been a fan of love that ain't real. I never been the type of man to show I can't feel. This lifestyle been kinda wild, but I'm flowing through the now, trying to cleanse myself from shit that I've been holding over these years. I'm feeling like I ain't here. Feelings make me spray tears, hate up in your face, but this a race, so I can't wait here. Try to steal my place, but no you can't, cause you will break here. But if we come together, it's no telling what we make here.
Girl, calling on my phone still rings. When the sun goes, sometimes it's 2 a.m. and I'm thinking about you. 2 a.m. and I'm thinking about you. You know it's 2 a.m. and I'm thinking about you. 2 a.m. and I'm thinking about you. Oh, 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 oh.
Poise, nimble, pounce, conventional. I twirl, you love it. I fall, I fail, I invent, I fail, I copy, you love it. I win, you love me. I win to live.
My body gives birth to a new appetite, and I cannot look back. I haven't yet decided my future, but I've decided to go exactly there. I thought I had this game on lock. Come to find, this game got a lock on me. What I spent time on used to be mine. Now, it is everyone else's. This system, old as time. My leash stretches and I think I'm free, but a leash isn't any less restraining just because it stretches. This pattern is how I learned survival.
I lose. You forget me. I became a moment. I beat myself. The beat, it calls. I follow my gut. I move my eyes. I forget you're watching. I remember the sound, my heels, my heart, the beats, it calls. I follow. It's me, alive. It's my own becoming. It's larger than life. It's my own goddamn trophy. It's my own life, and I got it. I got it back.
I'm not sure what you all want from me.
A bird is asked for all its feathers, then asked to fly.
I know you're always watching.
Can you see me? Are you listening? On stage, a drop of flesh in midair. We offer a scene, a rise to fall. This was the loudest the audience ever clapped.
When I ask myself what I want,
A match for the sake of burning, a sacrifice for the sake of spectacle.
I think it is to be free.
By the lift of a finger, a state makes a choice, sheathing borders from the bodies on stage and those left in the dark.
A long time ago, I became what you wanted from me.
An adjective, dealt for its intended purpose, a penance for the faces like mine who faded.
She running.
A mouth makes its own poison.
She been running.
A mouth has a momentary quality.
She has been running for a long time and still is.
We could not predict which name survived.
She is usually running in an intensive, sustained manner.
The bulb of a flower opens its mouth to be picked in the influence of light.
She is usually running in an intensive, sustained manner.
Speak.
She's tired.
I'm a refurbished noise. I'm a limitless power. I'm a body that works in specifics.
I stay lit.
In the closet, hang 3 leftover faces I'll bring to the party for later.
I stay ready to leave.
At the door is a featherless dove asking what to do with itself.
The light behind me
holds us steady. This is how we feed the dead. The faces that brought us to safety. The faces that watch us closely. To make something of these words. To make something of this stage.
to be. And that is enough.
Until you're seeing stars. Until the stars stand in place for as long as you're listening to this poem. Are you really listening? As long as the memory of us sharpens its blade against the crick of time.
Who are we if not what we leave behind us?
Each last lovely sound.
I handle the consequences of my decisions when they're not yours.
I'll carry what's left of us in my palm. And even when you're done listening, we'll remember that first feeling.
We've been running.
It's aesthetics. It's expectation.
Steady running.
It's the need to carry out meaning. It's a dirty way to call their face yours.
Running the limit.
I'll remember just enough to keep going.
When I ask what I want for myself,
to be held between the lights.
I think I wish to be free.
Bro, I think I'm in love.
You think you're in love?
I don't know. It's this amazing feeling inside me. Colors moving around. This world rotating. What else could this be besides love?
LSD?
No, this is not that. Trust me. It's just beautiful.
Oh, well, I think I know that feeling.
Look, I think you know nothing about this feeling. Let me explain to you what I'm talking about.
I'm pretty sure.
Have you ever turned someone on just one touch? Words Words just can't do it any justice.
Who is she?
She? Look, I may not have the words, but I do have a certain.
Really? Okay, I mean, as long as it's not like a cliche 90s R&B love song or anything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my head in your cloud forever. I can't sleep unless we're together. I was on 6 when I met her. Opening an app.
What app? What app could he have possibly met her on? Tinder, Bumble. Oh, God forbid. Not Craigslist.
Look, I'm holding that person right here in my hands.
You mean she's stuck in the phone?
How about you just come and merge with me? Just merge with me. You got my digits to my social security.
He gave the digits to his social security to somebody he met online? Listen, buddy, if you need help, just blink slowly 3 times.
You don't understand this beautiful feeling. I'm holding that person right here. Very hands.
I'm here for you.
I love it when you come and rub down my thigh. Even when you vibrate, I love it when you come and make that beat. Baby, you got my whole history.
Wait. What? You're talking about a damn device?
You thought I was talking about a person? You see, only a person of exquisite taste will understand. This ain't you.
This is what's up. A phone. A phone. Not a man. Not a woman. But a phone. Did we just hear a man sing an R&B song about trying to seduce Siri? Oh, Mom, how was Line Breaks? Oh, it was great poetry, great choreography. Oh, and one guy was 4 bars away from fornicating with a cell phone. You know, they say phones are supposed to connect us. But, you know, do phones really connect us? I mean, sure, I can text somebody in Dubai, but I barely know anything about the people in my history class. Besides the person who sits in front of me, I know he suffers from dandruff. You ever have to double check to make sure it ain't snowing indoors? I hope shampoo comes up as a subject. Merge with me. Just merge with me. Y'all know Elon Musk, right? Elon Musk wants to put computer chips into people's brains so we won't be enslaved by robots. And who better to liberate us than Elon Musk, an engineer from apartheid South Africa. He's like a white Nelson Mandela. But you know, we're already merged with an algorithm. You see, an algorithm is a process or set of rules to be followed. Think about it. You're woken up by your electronic wife. You check your phone, you check your status, you go to school, you graduate college, you get a job, you follow the process, the set of rules, the American dream. A white house, a white picket fence, white woman. Everything white. We're addicted to this algorithm. We're addicted to the American dream. A hallucination, really. A fun fantasy that makes us forget our problems, even if nothing's really changed. But we believe it's real. You know what I just thought about? I was right at the beginning of this. That man has got to be tripping on LSD.
I've been so stressed out.
That's you.
I know I need a break. I've been trying to block it out and pray
That's you.
I've been so stressed out. I know I need a break.
No, you're
I've been
kidding.
trying to block it out and pray I'll be okay. Is that safe? Is that healthy? I've been walking with blind faith. Walk through flame, swim through waves. But I'll try to hold on. I'm trying to find a place like home. I'm the type to be alone. Nowadays, it's outgrown. Just relax and take your time. Take the time to relax your mind. Trust your gut, it's always right. If I were to give advice, own your truth and just be you. Cause no one knows what you've been through. Through all the stress I really grew. But I just can't lie to you. So talk about it, don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. So talk about it, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You'll get through it, it'll all be okay. Pressure makes diamonds in a beautiful way. I've been so stressed out, I know I need a break. I've been trying to block it out, okay. I've been so stressed out, I know I need a break. I've been trying to block it out and pray I'll be okay.
The things you need, not the things you want. We're not after what we want. We want the things we need. You're not looking for any happiness. You know, that's just a dream. You know, there's too many addicts dreaming now. We're trying to get away from the dream. We want to get into the reality of things.
Gracias.
put your hands in your pockets. Don't put your hoodie on. Don't be outside with no shirt on. Check in with your people. It don't matter even if you're down the street. Don't be out too late. Don't touch anything you're not buying. Never leave the store without a receipt or a bag, even if it's just a pack of gum. Never make it look like there's an altercation between you and someone else. Never leave the house without your ID. Don't drive with a wife beater on. Don't drive with a do-rag on. Don't go out in public with neither. Don't ride with the music too loud. Don't stare at a Caucasian woman. If a cop stop you randomly and start questioning you, don't talk back. Just compromise. If you ever get pulled over, hands on the dashboard, and ask, could you get out your license and registration?
I'm angry at 31. You angry at 16. It's over, you understand me? Putting yourself in harm's way is not the way. No, it's not. You and then other your counterparts the same age and that has that same power. Y'all come up with a better way. Cause we ain't doing it. And I have a 5-year-old son. And it ain't happening. I marched 4 years ago. Keep Lamont Scott did the same y'all do. The same exact thing night after night after night. It don't matter. Come up with a better way. You understand me? You keep yourself safe.
The wrong guy to pass it to in that situation, and they turn it over. Oh my God. That's kind of the story of.
$1,000 niggas to these motherfuckers. You know? And until we own some shit, I'ma call it like it is. How you gonna be a man and we starving? Go ahead. You know? And you can walk by 5 different houses, ain't a man in either one of them motherfuckers. Why we gonna be a man? How we gonna be African Americans? We out here dying. We thugs and we niggas until we set this shit right. Get it, son, get it, hey, ooh.
You don't have no money. I have some money. Some money.
You know, you got to attention. I got something even better than the drum roll from the heart of the soul. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a book, close it. If you have music, turn it off. If you're sleeping, wake up. You don't want to miss this one right here. The Moose Ball, ladies and gentlemen. Yo, bro, you ready for the Moose Ball? Watch this. Do it. How does he do that? It's magic. Talk to him, son.
We're going to invite the artists back to the stage for a little conversation. We're going to close this traverse and try to do some setup in the back for the next show. We'll try to be as quiet as possible as we do that setup. Thank you all, Sophia.
Yes, and it'll also be about a 10-minute talk back. So if you need to get up and stretch, feel free to do so right about now. But we'll also have another brief intermission after this next show with Dari Ruiz. We'll have another. So for now, could I get the First Wave Touring Ensemble and 14th cohort up on the stage? Make some noise as they make their way to the stage. I'm emotional. Gosh. Yeah, man. Thank you all so much for all of the work that you put in this whole year to make this a reality. Let me put my timer on so I know that I'm not going over time. My first question for everybody, if we just want to do popcorn lightning round style, if you want to say your name, where you're from, and maybe what you want to major in, or undecided if you don't know yet, and we'll just snake around here real quick. Lightning round.
I'm Zach. I'm a creative writing major, and I'm from St. Louis.
Let's go.
Hey.
Max, business major from Madison. Let's go.
Grace, bio major from St. Louis.
Hayoni, dance and psychology major from Brazil.
Hi, I'm Luna. I'm engineering major from Brazil also.
Janae, dance and bio major from Milwaukee.
Get back to Jason.
I'm Jason. I'm from Philly, and I'm a communications major.
I'm Jelani. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I'm a real estate major.
I'm Selena. I'm from Baltimore, and I'm a communication major.
I'm Caleb from Chicago. I'm a legal studies and sociology major.
I'm Matthew. What am I studying? International studies major, and I'm from Middleton. Yeah, I think I'm sure.
My name is Ish. I moved from Glasgow, Scotland, and computer engineering and CS major.
I'm Adrian. I'm from Evanston, Illinois. I'm a neuroscience major.
I'm Azura. I'm from Seattle, Washington, and I'm a sociology and creative writing major.
My name is Naya. I'm from Chicago, and I'm a comm arts radio television film.
I'm Adina. I'm a double major in percussion and neurobio, and I'm from north of Chicago.
And I'm Sarah. What are the questions? I'm a psych major and a creative writing major from St. Louis.
In some of our promo, you probably saw that we said that you would hear voices from all over the world. We meant that, okay? We meant that. I guess my first question for you all, and of course, if there's any burning questions in the audience, raise your hand. We'll get into it. My first question for you all is about process, right? We had a workshop this morning with the finalists for the 15th cohort who saw the 14th co-show last night. They were just like, what time? Like, how did they do it? So my question for you all is, how was the process to create these works? Also to touring as well. And maybe what surprised you about the process in terms of your own artistry or the act of collaboration? Anybody can answer that. We'll take a few answers.
Well, for 14th Co, it does help that we all live together. And so whenever at, random times, 2 a.m., 6:30, you have 15 minutes, let's meet up at the studio, try and get a little riff in here, try and, go over something real quick. And, we're always just seeing each other. So, so then it's just like real easy to be like, you want to do this real quick? And then I feel like a lot of our ideas kind of came out of conversation than less of like, what should we do? Da, 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 da. And it was more of a natural process. So that's in terms of like the cohort.
Anybody else? Just generally, what was the process like? Anything that surprised you about yourself or the collaboration?
I'll take it. James Baldwin famously said, the role of the artist and the role of the lover are one and the same. If I love you, I have to show you something you don't know about yourself. And we as artists often forget there's a lot of things that we don't know too. When you're in process with somebody, when you're collaborating with the community, they show you spots you don't understand about your own work. And you build together and you refresh your ideas and you create a hub of knowledge which otherwise would not be available if you yourself will come into your own. You have to work with others if you're an artist. You need to do it in order to love each other well, to create a product of intense imagination and of exploration. It's required to work with each other. I'm super thankful to my ensemble for feeding into each other, for refreshing our ideas, for making everything new again.
Thank you, Jack.
I'll take a second. To talk about me and Adina's process, once we agreed with the collaborative idea that I was going to do a poem, she was going to do a piano riff over it. It was effort to that point. It was sitting down and giving yourself time to write and let all the emotion and tears come and fight through it. And then that's kind of what came of the piece, and then practice after that.
Let's get one more answer, and then we'll take a couple questions from the audience. Yeah, Caleb.
Yeah, I think that this process and the work that comes out of it is beautiful work, right? And I do want to highlight that, like, we love each other and we are in a collaborative space, but many times we don't talk about how hard it is for artists to create, especially in the world that we live in right now. So I think that this process has taught me a lot about the world, a lot about how I come to art, a lot about how sometimes you don't know the way. Sometimes you just need to step back and let other folk lead you and take you on a journey, and you have to ask those questions. So this process, although you saw this beautiful art, it was frustration, it was tears, it's people's experiences, their traumas, their joys that go into this work, and it's not fair to just sit and act like we're artists and we just create from a place that isn't raw. It's a lot of raw stuff, content that you saw in these pieces.
Thank you. All right, well, we'll take a couple questions from the audience. I'm being biased because Katrina Flores is here. So, Katrina, please ask your first question.
So, I was right. You were right there.
Yeah.
I did just kind of.
I also love you, so I just.
Yeah. Make some noise for Sophia. I wanted to ask specifically for the last part, the film. Can you guys speak a little bit about your collaboration, right? And how that worked to tell that story? When I first was working with First Wave, a lot of it was spoken word. And I love to see new mediums coming in such a powerful way so stories can be told in multiple ways. So if you can speak a little bit to that experience of putting that together. But in addition, can you tell us a little bit of what you were feeling when you were here in Ensemble watching it?
So yeah, that collaboration was between me and Selena.
Stand up.
Yeah, this project grew out of like multiple conversations, multiple I feel like failed projects, not failed, redirected projects from it, and I think that our process is coming in the same as a poet, the same as a rapper, the same as a painter. We're here to tell stories. It's a medium, and we obviously filmed this performance. So we wanted to draw from the algorithms, thinking about how algorithms view Black men. And it was extremely hard for us to like find footage that we thought we needed, but the algorithms told us different. And it gave us a different project than I even imagined would be up there. So I'm grateful for this process to learn about myself as a Black man, to learn about my traumas with being in space with Black men, and all of that. So yeah, we just like to tell stories, and film is one of our mediums to do so.
I think both Caleb and I remarked like how surprised we were that when we typed in like Black men in a city, it came up murdered. You know, Black men murdered, Black men harmed in some way, and we obviously wanted to tell a more positive story, and we were able to accomplish that. But it was definitely more difficult than either of us expected.
Yeah, and then in my head, I'm also was, if anyone saw the show last night, I was in the summer somewhere. So in my head, both of these pieces live together. Then both of these pieces kind of influence each other. So I wanted to show the nuance of Black life here. That like we can be joyful and ride motorcycles and be resisting the police and the state, nation state. But then we can also just take up space and be loud and Black and cry in public, and that's okay for Black boys to do, Black people to do. But yeah, especially Black boys. So.
If you have a question, we'll take one more after this. But Dinesh, I saw your hand up.
For sure, thank you. First of all, just incredible work from both casts. And also, thank you for putting that video. It was masterful. Like, just congratulations to 14 cohort. I think that is the most multi-hyphenate show that I've ever seen on a First Wave stage. Hey, but I wanted to ask both casts. I just wanted to ask, so y'all have been in, since SCE for some of y'all, or since the auditions. What are you proud of your castmates about? What are the growth that y'all seen in each other? Is there anybody in your ensemble that you want to shout out? Something that you saw, a risk that you saw them take, just an achievement that you saw them do, just a breakthrough moment. What are you proud of each other about?
I want to shout Sarah out.
Let's go.
When we first came, they were very, they would hide themselves. Their writing, we talk a lot about how it's like a defense mechanism, it's a guard. And today, in their touring ensemble pieces, they were so open and vulnerable, and that's insane.
Shout out Adrian. I've seen drafts of that piece, and every draft it got stronger and stronger, and the performance got stronger. And what y'all witnessed tonight is just the beginning of this young man's career.
Maybe can we get some more for folks who haven't spoken up yet?
Shout out to Matthew. At the same time, deep and very light. I've watched the piece so many times that every time that I watch it, I knew it by heart and I still laugh. Every
I know this is general. I want to shout out all of 14 Co. We had a lot of struggle, as Caleb said. We had a lot of tears, a lot of frustration, a lot of stuff went into this piece. A lot of what you see is just multiple drafts that we had to just keep tackling, keep finding out. We had to talk to people outside of our cohort, outside of the state, outside of this country. So it was just a lot, but we're really proud of what we performed, and we're really proud for you guys to experience.
Can I shout out touring ensemble?
Yes.
With drafts and experimenting, we all come from spoken word poetry backgrounds where I think we're used to the monologue form and being the only person on stage. And I really want to commend everyone that I've done this ensemble with to grow in the direction of theater and pushing how many bodies can be on stage. And I think we learned a lot in that process. And I especially want to shout out Jax too. If you were here yesterday, he wrote, choreographed, directed Glitch, and Jax has been a poet for as long as I've known him. And then he created a show entirely with dance as a new medium. So I think it's dope to be multidisciplinary, experiment.
Yes.
Period.
basically superficial world, you are also wise. Like the wisdom behind this is astonishing.
Yes.
So the question I have for you, because you all seem so knowing, that's really so mind-boggling to me, and yet you're still young, so there's still so much to know. I'm wondering what you did not know before you created this art that now is clear to you. Like, what was obscure, and what do you now know or understand about like your condition and the condition of other people, and like what will that do for you moving forward? I love you, Professor Kawhi.
For me personally, right, I hold multiple genres in my body, and I haven't seen those articulated in the same spaces before. They've very much been sort of these bisected worlds that I don't bring together. And so to know that a story not only can, but in some ways must be articulated in multiple forms in order to reach new avenues and new ideas within it, the necessity of that has become clear to me through the first process of working with these beautiful artists and by watching the incredible show the 14 Co put on. I didn't know that I needed to experience the story in that way. In order to see every aspect of it, I needed the body, I needed the text, I needed the visuals, and all of it makes the information more revelatory to me and to everybody else. And it moves me in different places. So thank you all.
Anybody who hasn't spoken up yet want to answer that question? So great.
Yeah. So for my piece with Adrian, I think we kind of started off with writing it alone, and the pieces alone were strong, but putting it together and finding out ways to finding out the spots that were appropriate to take things out and find a balance. And even though it might have seemed weaker, together taking out those elements worked better in the end. So I think just being humble enough to allow your art to change in the process towards the final part.
Yeah.
Shout out to Adina and the piano composition. The composition for the dance piece that was also Adina's music.
Any questions in the balcony? Not to put y'all on blast, that's a full balcony, y'all. Yes, your hands up.
Did you guys feel like you had to make any personal sacrifices when you were writing or contemplating anything that resulted in like an emotional uproar within yourself?
Jason.
Yeah, today was actually the first day as a Black man I felt I could be open on stage. After seeing Vanessa's piece and seeing Caleb's piece, and just seeing how free Black men were, and just seeing all those beautiful Black bodies just doing what they did, it touched me. And yesterday I felt I was closed off on stage. I felt I didn't give my all, and today I just wanted to do it from a different light, and I just wanted to really show you guys who I am and what I feel.
Anybody else want to answer that question? Someone who hasn't spoken up yet.
Oh, yeah. I was kind of thinking, answering the question in my head, but like kind of what Grace was saying and what Adina was saying, like those areas where you're weak and feeble and can be knocked down, when in collaboration, like it builds you up and it can give you strength and, do the opposite of what you thought it would do to you. And like, I feel like by telling these stories, it doesn't just have to be mine or ours anymore. Like it belongs in all of you now. And it's just, we're being honest. And I feel like that is one of the hardest things to do. And that's something I learned, Dr. Fawaz's question, like when you're honest, people can tell. And that's the stuff that really sticks. And all the pieces, we were all being real. And because of that, like we won't forget them. And no one will forget them.
Please make some noise for our first wave. gonna let our students actually find seats because somehow y'all try to sell this place out. I really resent it. I'm just kidding. Thank you all for being here. So we're gonna let our students get in where they fit in. You hope there's no more seats? Oh, this is open. Oh, Jackson. Okay. Oh, you ready, Kayla? You got it. There's a couple seats over here, I see. So this next piece that's gonna go up is beautiful. But that being said, after this piece, we'll have another little break to strike the stage and have our final performance of the evening. But this piece is by 12th Co's very own Daru. As a Bostonian myself, Daru is very near to me. But this piece started out as a one person show, and Dari came in as an MC and a poet, and when it came time for Line Breaks proposals, was just like, yeah, I'm trying to make a live album, I'm trying to do some theater, I'm like, okay, growth, as they say. But Dari has been working incredibly hard to make this piece happen. He's been accompanied by some incredible artists out from Milwaukee. We're gonna talk a little bit more about it after. We'll have a small talk back with the intermission again, but please make some noise.
Two, check, check, check. Check, 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 check.
It's about that time. We want everybody off the stage who ain't supposed to be on the stage. We want get Smitty to beat you up.
Don't worry, Smitty don't get paid enough to beat anyone up. Hello, everybody. Recording live from somewhere. Lights, please, spotlight into me. I'll be your host. This New Year's Eve MC this evening. The name's Dars. Please enjoy the charcuterie martinis while smoking herbal leaves. Or is that just me? You know, it is New Year's Eve, 2027. And around this time of year, I like to reminisce. Grab your drink and listen to how my cousin, Roberto, became the antithesis of the life I live. It's like Fast and Furious, if you will. But like no cars, just family. Me and Roberto's relationship has always been just a little, how would you put it? Complicated?
Yo, what's up? It's your big primo. Yo, it's getting hard in here, bro.
You know my situation. Mira, ¿tú crees que you think you could put some money on my books? Algo un chimbo, just a little bit for my commissary. You think you could do that for me? Just a little bit, and that's it, bro. This is the last time, I promise.
Whole rat shit wasn't always my repertoire. Homies told me shoot my shot, so I went far. Came back, but they almost shot back. Is it my fault if they made their life hard? I was 12, telling them I'ma make it. Got me wearing Jordan jerseys that didn't fit. Jeans sagging cause they big. Christmas came quick, I got socks. My cousin copped the whip. Ballin' but never pick. Plotting on getting rich. I was trying to sell all these doughs. After school, told me to go home, working on my rhymes alone. Who my cousin rap his bars to? Drugs written in a hard tune. Sell the green to make the green. Sell that white to the whites. Set for life, I was making minimum wage, folding clothes and opening doors. My check weekly, my cousin waiting, yo, he trying to sell a zip. See what we finna eat. No employment to report, no government EBT. Dealers in and out the crib. I'm the one trying to leave. No matter the difference between both and the day. In the car, freestyles with Mob Deep, smoking weed and the scene. Oh, that's hard. You ever have that cousin or sibling, younger or older, tú sabes, that you always get compared to? They be like, why can't you get grades like so-and-so? Oh, he got a job now. Oh, you here going to college now too? Maybe if you start hanging with him, you could get your sorry ass life together. I was that cousin. But by the end of high school, me and Roberto were still those cousins getting compared. I would only see him at family functions, and that's all I could handle. And that's all he would allow himself to be seen. But at my high school graduation, he gave me a pair of Jordans. Not my size, but I understood. He also gave me a blunt and a fifth of Hennessy, also not my size. But on the inside of the box, written in Sharpie, was the chorus to our favorite Mobb Deep song we would rap as kids. You know, it'd be like, they scared to look, they shook, cause ain't no such things as halfway crooks. Yeah, halfway crooks. So I went to college, the start of the solution and the part of the problem. You don't know how little you matter until you're all alone on the floor of your dorm, high off your ass, contemplating acid, till you finally do it and feel fantastic. Matter of fact, you cope with pain so bad, you smoke to go to class, and you're not surprised when you pass with a 6 out of 6 on the quiz, and you didn't even look at the syllabus shit. Is this what freedom is? It hurts so good, the only time I sit still is to let it fester. Let me craft a creative contrast, the contrast of my professor. No time for lonely procrastination, panic attacks of my creation. My mind is full with curiosity and fascination of self-sabotage, something in the making. Maybe I should hit up the homies for explanation. Well, imposter, look no farther than the last text they sent you, the last time they checked for you. Do the homies even miss me? When's the last time they hit me? I see them on the gram, not busy. Should I hit them up first and put up a front of success I can't attest to? Is this a test too? Why is this green text not going through? Can I survive on my own if the homies back home can't pay off their phones? I've been low, but never like this before. I get embarrassed to call back every time. It's the miracle child, the prodigal son, the walking encyclopedia. Remember he got got a fam that gotta eat. Bruh, I'm just trying to pass the prerequisites in a major that makes me feel minor. If I switch now, how do I explain to my mom that the major won't supply her? Making plans of my return. What's the word? What information should I withhold? Oh, I can't smoke. I got aunties to see, grandmas watching TV, and cousins to be compared to me. Let's see. How hooked can I be with whites around me? I could be more urban, see, slur my words like I'm tipping. Well, this straight edge now living on the edge. They test my limits. I got off the therapy wait list 4 months into the semester. We met like 3 times. I cried in the second session, and that was the first time I cried in, well, it's been a while. I cry more now. Because the older I get, I just understand that feeling more. It doesn't really go away. In the last session before winter break, my therapist left me with one line to think about. He told me, "You're lucky to even be in the room. They're lucky to be alive." And the first thing I thought about was, damn, they gotta pay you more. That was really good, damn. But the second thing I thought about was, I haven't talked to Roberto in 4 months. Until I went back. Nothing new.
Yo, you finna get active? You sure you wanna come? This ain't no rap shit. It's real life. Hey, mijito, get in the car. Nah, I told you you'll be back before bedtime. Get your ass in the car. You me tienen que respetar a mí. You leaving, you think you want shit now? Deja el juego. If you can hang, fine. If you can't, stop for 10. Oye, nos fuimos.
Yeah, I am happy to be doing hood rat shit with the kids I knew since I was 6. Who I'm with, who I'm with. In the back thinking about how to get rich. Now I'm with the gang and I hope it's not a glitch. Who I'm with, who I'm with. Here I am happy to be doing hood rat shit with the kids I knew since I was 6. Who I'm with, who I'm with, who I'm with. We 4 deep in the Civic. We just civilians. For once, I'm not the smallest, so I call shotgun. Freestyles turn to sing-alongs, cause I couldn't rap as a Padawan. We bumping Lil Wayne mixtapes, and somehow that leads to Drake. We started from the bottom of his discog, and that's where it ended. Cause we ain't trying to get all sad and depressing. We needed real hip-hop, hip-hop. And of course, Kamari takes the aux, and he plays some shit we never heard of. I override with the Bluetooth. How many shots do it take till I feel numb? Ask the person in the back seat with a real gun. I adhere to the fear cause my cousin got no hands on the wheel. I just wanna smoke. I just wanna smoke. I don't want the smoke. Oh Lord, here they go. Oh Lord, here they go. They don't know I know. Why they asking me to hit the stove, asking me for more bread. Like food stamps ain't bigger than my check. If that was me, I'd be blessed. Dressed with intent to complex. Dressed with intent to complex. Set up far from excess. So you might be asking, when do we see action? Blasted weed, Chief Keef, Hennessy made everything feel faster. I ain't never seen this road before. Blasted, we 4 deep in the Civic, hanging out the window. I ain't never seen this stuff before. Blasted, we just civilians, hanging out the window. I ain't never seen this flow before. Blasted, might make bad decisions. Hanging out the window. I ain't never seen this flow before. I ain't never blasted. Time for impact, no collision. This is what happens, no parent supervision. Hanging out the told to stay in the car, I was impatient. Broke crack commandment number 2. I walked in, they knew the next move. Glock 9 between the eyes of the man behind the counter. Complacent. Blink once, blink twice. Gun pointed at me. Wink once, wink twice. Run and make him happy. I walked in, I knew the next move. I walked in with nothing to prove. I walked in with one route left to choose. I'm on the freeway, doing 95. Ran like freedom was the only thing that existed. This is why I get left out of missions. Why come in? Why you got a gun? Why come in the first place? Why you robbing for fun? I should've never came. Take this chance, you gotta be a man today. I ain't catch a case. The only thing I had to thank was the faith of my cousin who I thought was fake, or who I built up faith before I came back that day. I ain't go back for him. I ain't tried. I should have let you shoot me. And the guilt for me. Back at the store. Handcuffs. No bullet cases drop. Swift like I knew they'd come in. Swift like all that hate came in. Swift like I'm the reason he gotta pay for this. That was 2016. Roberto got 20 years with possible parole for attempted murder and attempted robbery. He didn't even get the chance to steal anything. The gun wasn't even loaded. And not to mention, the judge was a friend of a friend who knew my tia, who was the baby mama of the judge's brother-in-law, son, something like that. I just tell people my tia knew the judge. Fast forward. I survived. I survived long enough to graduate college. I survived long enough to play my first show here. I survived long enough to sell it out. I survived long enough to buy the place. But I wouldn't be here where I am today without him. Oh, it's time for the last song of the year. Grab your drinks, grab your kiss, grab your grapes. Y'all know the deal. And please join me for this last song. Your entry fee is going to a good cause, so please enjoy the rest of your night. It's still young. The drinks only get stronger. Give me a little bounce on this next one. Hit it. Oh, I like that. Uh-huh. Yeah, I like that? Uh-huh. 1, 2, 1, 2. Always ask for dough in and out the door when I need you more. Made loving you hard, like a hug a ghost. How could I know when your feelings blocked? Let me in once. Right. Let me in once.
Let me in once.
Trying to push me out.
You ain't
trying to push me out.
You can't.
The block was a cop out.
Yo.
Let me in once. Let me in once.
Let me in once.
Trying to set me up.
You can't.
Trying to push me out.
You can't.
The block was a cop out. Hey, let me in once.
Let me in once.
Trying to set me up.
You ain't.
Trying to push me out.
You can't.
Blocks out, not the cops out.
Hey.
Never been through, but I came through. Now I come through. But you love me, even when I came home. How could I know? Peace part of me, but I had to leave. One day you'll see. So much life to live. Can't do it knowing I put you in. Try to right my wrongs, so I wrote these songs. Try to right my wrongs, so I wrote these songs. Try to right my wrongs, so I wrote these songs. Let me hear you now. Try to right my wrongs, so I wrote these songs. Let me in once.
Let me in once.
Trying to set me up.
You ain't.
Trying to push me out.
You can't.
The block was a cop out. Hey, give it up for the Speakeasy band. Got my man Q on the keys. Got my girl Be Free on the flute and harmonies. Got my main man Class on the drums and effects, and effects and the drums. I think it's time to count down. Y'all ready to count down with me? Grab your kids. Y'all know what's up. Here we go. Let's hear it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept charges, press 1. To refuse charges, press 2. If you would like to thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Mira, primo, te tengo que dar la gracia. Tú me salvaste la vida. Tú no tenías que hacer eso. No importa cómo llegué aquí. Estoy feliz que me hayas sacado. Y dime, ¿el dinero de dónde? ¿No me vas a decir? Bueno, obviamente. Now I gotta hear your little weak ass raps. Hey, nos vemos mañana, bro. Salud. Love you, bro. Cuídate.
We're going to clear the stage right before we get into our next and final performance called True to the Root. We'll have I think the house lights up a bit, and we'll have about a 7-minute intermission if you need to go to the bathroom, stretch your legs, what you want to do. I want to ask our beloved 12th Pro member here some questions. I know you're just like, can I drink a glass of water? You know what I'm saying? Water is right, we're about to do that. Oh, I'm sorry. We got it. You good. So, if folks have any questions, we'll get to them, but I'm going to kick it off with my first question for you guys. I saw this piece a week ago. Yeah.
You did see this piece a week ago.
And a lot has changed.
Yeah.
A lot has changed. Do you want to talk about the process of like what it was like when you first had the idea through what we experienced here today?
Yeah, so I first had the idea in 2017. Oh, shit, yeah.
No.
I first had the idea in 2017. The first part I wrote was that Before Deep in the Civic part, intro, because that was supposed to be for a diss track, but it never got out because I grew past it. Growth. And then eventually I knew I wanted to build like this whole double entendre of like survivor's guilt, like you just survived something, but you also survived something more longer term. And it kind of just, I needed to experience more things in order to write about them. And so then when I came to the pitch with Carl, I was like, initially there was like a whole more interactive part of it, but I think where it is now, it's seen a lot of growth in just more like the acting part of it, not necessarily the music part of it. I feel like this is the most musically like technical stuff that I've done. But then like the acting stuff was like leaps and bounds than where I was like coming in as a sophomore. So yeah.
Word, thank you. Tommy.
Hey, Dari.
Hey, Tommy.
First of all, that was like genuinely one of the best experiences I've ever had in the theater.
Oh, wow.
I was just like sitting here. I'm sure Grace like felt me like shivering because I was just crying, like watching you, like having seen where this has progressed from, not this performance specifically, but your artistry, both in specifically the music, but also just the multidisciplinarity of it all. And I know when you first talked about this piece to me, this is not what I was anticipating.
No.
And I'm just really curious when you started to sort of like see the vision for what ultimately became this entire segment of the night, because
Yeah, so basically when COVID happened, initially my first idea was not to have this whole thrust instead of like having the audience like in here with me, like as if you were in a speakeasy. But then COVID happened and I was like, okay, well, I gotta switch it up and change it to be a little bit more like intimate with the band. And then like the moments where I'm out here is like reflective moments that I'm talking with the audience. And then like the other moments is like, should I be listening? Is this an inner thoughts? So kind of crossing those paths kind of made me think that I was like, feel like I was writing 2 different or 3 different narratives, but they all came together. So that's when I started seeing it. I was like, this is all the same story from different perspectives.
Thank you. Okay, one more question. Everyone in the back, all the way over there. Is that Ajane?
Yeah.
Okay, 7th cohort.
I think a lot, and something that I've been thinking about a lot lately is like lineage and who informs our work. If you had to name like 3 people who you feel like inform this piece most, like 3 artists, or even non-artists, who would they be?
Yeah, so in 2018, I got to work with Idris Goodwin on his breakbeat play called Hype Man when he brought it to Boston. And that kind of showed me the possibility of what I could do because of combining hip hop and theater. So that was like, okay, bet the formula. And then Denez Smith in the writing of like being honest, being very like, yes, this is my life, but also storytelling and like references. And then I think I build a lot on my friends. So I remember when I first started thinking about the piece, Nile. We came up with a whole list of synonyms that I definitely used throughout the piece of like hood rat shit, you know, ganging them, all those types of stuff. And I was like, okay, bet, I'm gonna find a way to put at least half of these in here. So I was like, there's a whole song called Hood Rat Shit. So yeah.
Thank you. All right. Okay, as people are sitting, we'll take one more question. As people are sitting down, we're about to transition. Yes, Michael. Okay, 5th co.
Yeah, I just wanted to show love because something I feel like in like the brief moments I've had with you and been able to share space with you over like the past couple years as we could, like you have such a light about you and a love for just what you do, and you carry that around as infectious on other people, right? No pun. I know what time we had. So like knowing that, I'm saying like I would have no idea that you went through that type of shit. I had no clue. So you gave that. So I know people talk about being courageous to the point where it sounds like it's a cliche, but like that's a discipline, like that's a practice for real. So what are the people or the experiences you've had as you built this work to get the discipline to be as courageous to show us what you showed us? So that shit was difficult.
Yeah. There was a lot of things I went through. I think the college song, like the whole second one, came out of a free write that I had as soon as COVID hit, and I was contemplating dropping out, and I was like, do I even want to be here? Should I go back home in Boston? I could be doing the exact same thing. And so like that came off from a free write that like I think still is like a work in progress. And then I kind of just put a lot of my true life into it, but then also with this piece specifically blurring the lines of like, you don't know what's real, you know what's fake. Because I also, as a storyteller, you can tell your own story for sure, but there's a lot of people who don't have the ability to tell their own stories. That's why we get voiceovers. That's why we get other things. So yeah, it's a combination of my own story, a lot of people's stories. And yeah, it was pretty hard not to like write. It was hard to write, not necessarily hard to perform once I like processed it because of how long I've been working on it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. We have arrived to the final performance of Line Breaks 2022, the 15th anniversary. It is only right that we end this evening honoring a dear beloved member of the 5th cohort of First Wave, John Vietnam Nguyen. If you knew him, he was hip hop, living and breathing as a culture, as a person. And we love him, we miss him. And the JVN Project was a nonprofit started by Jalarina and members of his cohort here in Madison who bring hip hop culture to young people all year round. That being said, put your hands together for True to the Roots by the JVN Project.
And where do I begin? Offering this burning place of prayers and never sin. This isn't meant to be political, but the state we living in is near and critical. How you mean? Too much negativity. Blessed be the stress that we inherit worlds lyrically. And this what a G told me. We need to live simply just so we can simply be. Stay humble, stay low, you should be fine and forget the truth. So we need to remind, truth has changed and change hurt the best of us. Gotta make the sacrifice, forget it if your chest is puffed. Empty out your pockets and analyze the contents. Money, money, money and the ganja for the profit. Fake prophets will tell you how to live, but it starts with the root. I got that water to give, I got that water to give. Yes, yes, y'all. It's like this, it's like that, it's like this, y'all.
I am always breathing in too quickly when I think about the end of the world. Like maybe I can store all of this oxygen in my lungs forever. Maybe I can hold all of this air and give it to the people I love when the trees are choking on smoke.
I chose to study the environment. Like every day, I'm not reading about the newest way Earth is attempting to collapse in on herself, with her children still in the womb. I study her and all of her dying because I'm stubborn.
It's 50 degrees in February and someone says,
I know this is because of the end of the world, but it's so beautiful.
And then all of the sudden, the beauty is no longer ours. Instead, it is a reminder that we are the disappearing wings on the backs of men who flew too close to the sun. but even in our melting, we managed to scald their backs.
Because the truth is,
Nothing is more deadly than a generation born into fire.
Who wants to save that which is already burning to ash? Who knows, maybe it is too late anyway.
And not because of us. The year I turned 18, we learned that we only have until 2030 to fly back down to the beach before it's too late.
So I choose to study my Earth and all of her dying. Maybe I want the end of the world to come from my own hands this time. If I can't fix her, at least let us be the arms that rock her through her last breaths. When hip hop was ready to be worn on the body, it came to Dapper Dan with nothing but a high top fade, naked and crawling for definition. Dan taught us that luxury brands were simply white spaces that had yet to meet his hands. Simply another sample just waiting to be remixed. Imagine the oceans our culture went to war with, just so it could be the one to clothe our bodies and find its rest in the vessels of our drip.
And it's things as simple as like aluminum cans where people could just like collect those things and like make art out of them. For my pieces, I drew inspiration from bamboo earrings. And those were like really big in the 90s and early 2000s, and they still are today, but they were especially prevalent then in the hip hop scene. So just like taking the bottoms of an aluminum can and turning it into something that's inspired by it, that like, because like I feel like bamboo earrings are kind of like a symbol of the Black community. Like they are very personal and they hold a lot of culture behind them. So being able to like replicate that and something that's like kind of easy to do, yeah, I just think that's really cool.
Check. What's up, y'all? I'm gonna need y'all to give me a little call response. Hip hop. Hip hop. Oh, y'all are fun. Let's get lit real quick. I'm gonna tell y'all a story. Check me out. Set. This the story of hip hop. It came from the South Bronx, NYC spot. But them NYC's hot. The man tried to paint us everything we not. But from all that drama, Rose Flash, Herc, Africa Bambaataa, them three combined became the grandfather of this thing called rap. Let me tell you how it started. They was playing it real slow, dethroning the king. People love they disco. But y'all know how shit go. They hate new music when the people get real old. So they was scratching them records, creating the beats. MCs was they best friends. In a few generations, this thing called rap, I'ma tell you how it's destined. Hip hop. One more time now, hip hop. Y'all make some noise for these models out here, y'all.
Today I open my closet, and out comes the tumbling dirt.
I touch earth, and she sews the sleeve of my shirt from the vine.
Gently mends flower petals until they make my socks.
roots my jeans in all her glory, and I am looking fly as hell.
How beautiful it would be to know my wardrobe maker's name by name, to watch her process, her always moving hands, the sweat that drips from the fabric and onto my skin, a dewy highlighter, to know she is a style that will never grow stale. Today I open my closet and she asks to wear me instead. I bow and bend as she stretches me to fit her.
I think about the men who want to feed her into submission, dip her in plastic-filled fabrics made to make me feel pretty. Each flammable garment a reminder of her obsolescence, a collection of the latest styles fit for a burial.
We ask Earth to build our closets, and in exchange, she asks that we fill them with things that can return to her when we are through with them.
And while I know this will not save her, I still wonder
if years from now, when she has no choice but to return me to dust, if I will still be her favorite outfit.
I think sustainability is so inherent to artists and artistry, or it has the capacity to be. I think it's already written into the way that we do art and that hip-hop artists have done art. The idea of like making something new, whether it's like a new dance move or like a new style of music out of like what you already have, out of the bare minimum. And just that aspect of playfulness, I think, is there. And of like recycling, in a sense, is very key to sustainability, and revisiting something and making it new again, but it still has the essence of that last like existence. I feel like that's really in hip hop, because it is something that like it maintains itself. It doesn't, but it's always ever expanding and growing. And I think that like dynamic sense is key to understanding sustainability, because there's no one way to do it, and it shifts over time. So I feel like that really like coalesced in my brain. I was like, yeah, I see that.
thank you so much for coming to the 15th annual. As some of you may have noticed, we have gone a little bit over time. Just a tad. And so that being said, I'm gonna ask all first waivers to make your way to the stage while I say my thank yous to everybody. We're gonna take a group photo after this, but all first waivers. If you are in first wave, make your way to the stage.
If you've
Please make
ever
some
been in
noise for
first wave,
wave.
please come on the stage.
I have to say, make some noise when I say an entity's name. I want you all to say back to me, thank you. All right, let's practice. First wave. Thank you. Overture Center. Thank you. Wisconsin Alumni Association. Thank you. Division of the Arts. Thank you. Yourselves. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. We appreciate Y'all can catch this next year, same time, probably same place, maybe bigger theater. Thank you all for being a part of our community and for celebrating 15 years of multicultural arts on the campus and off. Much love to you all. Thank you so much for coming. Have a good night.